Good Shabbos, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I'm not in shul. I'm in fact in the Kruger Park, sitting here on the bank of the Crocodile River. And if you actually look closely right there, you'll see a bunch of hippos just lying there looking just like me. That's what I'm going to do for the rest of the week. So I just want to give you guys a quick little short word on this week's parasha, Parashat Chukat. Of course, the famous story on Parashat Chukat is the red heifer. But something else happens in this parasha. It tells us about the death of Miriam. And right after the death of Miriam, it tells us that we ran out of water, that the people came to complain to Moshe. He was still sitting Shiva for the death of his sister, and they came complaining about water. Now, our sages picked up an interesting juxtaposition between the death of Miriam and the water stopping. And they tell us that it was actually in the merit of Miriam that we had water for those 40 years of the Exodus. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have water. Why? What did Miriam do? What's so special about Miriam that we merited to have water, that she merited for us to have water? In fact, that rock was called Miriam's well. So there's a few opinions. One of the opinions, the main ones that the Zohar brings across, is that it's actually to do with when she was still a young little girl, just after Moshe was born. Remember old Pharaoh? There's another crocodile we can talk about. The Torah calls Pharaoh a crocodile a few times. He decreed that all the Jewish boys had to be killed. And what happened was his mother Yocheved went and put him in a basket, put him in not the Crocodile River, but the Nile River. And what Miriam did was she actually followed Moshe all the way while he was in the river, making sure that he didn't get eaten by any of those Nile crocodiles or hippos that were just interrupted by a hippo. And she made sure that he was safe. And then eventually when he got to Pharaoh's daughter who was bathing in the Nile River, Batya, that's an interesting name. Batya, she was butting, yeah, just like that. Anyway, so Batya went and took Moshe out of the water. That's what the name Moshe means to draw from the water. And Miriam ran up to her and said, "Do you need a wet nurse for the baby? I can find you one from among the Israelite women, from the Hebrew women." And she said, "Yes." And Miriam went and found her own mother, Yocheved, and Yocheved was able to look after Moshe those first few years of his infancy. Now, what Miriam did there is actually very profound, because Moshe is, of course, the ultimate, the first redeemer of Israel. He was the savior of Israel from Egypt. So what Miriam did was she was the guardian of the savior of Israel, which is very profound for us to think about. I think we need to try and do the same. Imagine being called the guardian of the savior of Israel. Now the Midrash comes and asks the question, what happened to that rock after the Exodus? And it answers the question that actually that rock ended up in the Sea of Galilee. In fact, the Midrash says you can still go there till today and see that rock in the Sea of Galilee. Now, where is the spot? Those of you that have been to Israel, good luck finding it. I believe it is in a place called Tabcha. Tabcha actually is a fantastic place where we see a bunch of springs actually shooting forth, literally gushing out water from between the rocks that goes into the Sea of Galilee. So that's probably why the Midrash spoke about that. And for us as believers, that's a very important spot, because, of course, that is the spot where Yeshua chose his 12 disciples, his apostles. That's where the original sent ones were chosen. Now, we, of course, are also disciples of Yeshua, even though we're a few generations late. We're spiritual descendants of those original apostles, and we too have that same job. What is the job of being a disciple of Yeshua? It's very much the same as what Miriam did that merited the water for the 40 years. It's to be the guardians of the Savior of Israel. Just like she guarded Moshe, who was our first redeemer, we too have to guard and spread and teach and protect the message of Yeshua, the ultimate savior of Israel. So we have to do the same, and it's not easy. We're going to have a lot of challenges, people that are going to try and shoot us down, right? A bunch of Nile crocodiles and vile crocodiles that are going to come across our way. But be strong, and let us be strengthened. We can do it. This is what the call of discipleship is, that we can spread the words and the gospel of Yeshua to the ends of the earth, even here, through the Crocodile River, right? So there's some real hippos, and if you look very closely here, Judah is playing with a fake crocodile. Nah, that's not a real one. Anyway, good Shabbos, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoy the week. I'm going to try and do my best to look just like those hippos for the rest of the week. Shabbat Shalom.